For a long time, people have treated the idea of the Punisher entering the supernatural side of Marvel as a joke. They hear demons, magic, or Midnight Suns and immediately assume Frank Castle doesn't belong there. That assumption is wrong. And now, because of a recent rumor tied to Blade and the Midnight Suns, this conversation suddenly matters more than it ever has. Let's talk about why. Recently, reports surfaced that Marvel Studios has quietly scrapped or indefinitely shelved the standalone Blade movie starring Mahershala Ali. The film was officially removed from Marvel's release slate after years of delays, rewrites, and creative resets. According to insiders, the biggest issue wasn't casting or budget, it was tone. Marvel reportedly struggled to reconcile Blade's darker subject matter with the broader MCU, and after multiple failed attempts to make it work, the project stalled.
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
That doesn't mean Blade is gone, it means Marvel may be shifting direction. Instead of a solo Blade movie, insiders suggest Marvel is now focusing on a Midnight Suns style team project, where darker characters can exist together without needing to soften their edges to carry an entire franchise alone. And this is where things get interesting, because on a recent podcast, entertainment reporter Jeff Sneider mentioned that Marvel may be looking at a Midnight Suns project that includes the Punisher. Now, before anyone panics or dismisses this as clickbait, it's important to understand why Jeff Sneider matters. Sneider has a long track record of accurate industry scoops. He correctly reported the Punisher's involvement in Spider-Man Brand New Day. He called major Marvel and DC casting moves well before official announcements, and he also discussed Blade's cancellation before it became widely reported. So when someone like him floats this idea, it's not random speculation, it's worth examining. Here's the key thing people get wrong. The Punisher has never been a founding member of the Midnight Suns, but he has absolutely operated inside that world. In the 1990s, Marvel's created an imprint called Marvel Edge. It was short-lived, but its purpose was clear. Separate Marvel's darker, more adult characters from the main superhero line. Under Marvel Edge, characters like the Punisher, Ghost Rider, Blade, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, and even Hulk were grouped editorially, not as a team but as part of the same corner of the universe. That matters, because this is where the Punisher's connection to the supernatural side begins. During the original Midnight Suns era, Doctor Strange assembled supernatural heroes to combat threats like Lilith. Blade and Ghost Rider were central figures. While the Punisher wasn't always listed as a core member, he operated alongside these characters repeatedly. He fought demons, he dealt with occult threats spilling into the streets. He exists where supernatural threats intersect with human violence. One of the most famous examples is Heart of Darkness, where the Punisher teamed up with Ghost Rider and Wolverine to fight Blackheart. That was Frank Castle standing in hell-adjacent territory and surviving. He also worked directly with Doctor Strange in the Magic Bullet storyline. Frank openly distrusts magic, but he understands one thing very clearly. If something threatens innocent people, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. That mindset fits the Midnight Suns perfectly. Then there's Ghost Rider. Frank Castle famously survived the penance stare. And if you haven't seen the video already about me explaining this, be sure to check it out after this video. But Frank Castle wasn't able to do this because he was immune, but he was able to do it because he felt no guilt. That moment alone places him firmly within Marvel's supernatural canon. And if that wasn't enough, Marvel went even further with Cosmic Ghost Rider, turning Frank into a supernatural entity himself. While that version may not translate directly to the MCU, it proves that Marvel has no problem placing Frank Castle deep into cosmic and occult territory when the story demands it. Thematically, the Punisher fits. The Midnight Suns deal with monsters, demons, cults, and forces that prey on the vulnerable. Frank Castle deals with predators. The difference is scale, not purpose. When supernatural threats spill into neighborhoods, Frank Castle doesn't step aside, he steps in. sympathy brings preparation, violence, and resolve, and that contrast is exactly what makes him valuable. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean the Punisher suddenly becomes a magical character, and it doesn't mean he replaces Blade or Doctor Strange. If Marvel is serious about this direction, Frank Castle would likely be an honorary or situational member, someone who operates alongside the Midnight Suns when their missions overlap with his world. That approach preserves what makes him unique while expanding the range of stories he can exist in. That said, none of this happens automatically. For the Punisher to earn a significant role in a Midnight Suns project, Marvel has to prove that the audience demand it first. That means his appearance in Spider-Man Brand New Day has to land. It also means that his special presentation has to perform. And it means Marvel needs to see that Frank Castle can draw attention beyond street-level stories. If that happens, the door opens. Personally, I want to see it happen. The Punisher has one of the deepest, most versatile character ranges in Marvel. Reducing him to just street level ignores decades of storytelling where he has fought monsters, demons, and supernatural threats head on. A Midnight Suns project can finally show casual audiences what longtime readers already know. Frank Castle belongs wherever evil exists. Now, if this happens, it opens the door to something even bigger, a full Punisher team-up series on this channel. And the best place to start would be the official members of the Midnight Suns: Blade, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Wolverine, and even Moon Knight. These are characters that the Punisher has already worked with individually and collectively. So, let me know in the comment section if you want me to break down the Punisher's team-ups in detail, starting with the members of the Midnight Suns. Now, before you leave, make sure to punish that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. The Punisher Mythos is out.